how we going all? I'm here to have a little chat about Andy and his footy career and then follow on to a bit of friendship. Andy started off in 2002 at the H-Rung 17s, winning a grand final against Simpson. Then the two clubs merged to become the Timboon Demons. And in 2003 became a premiers and champions, and also followed up in a grand final in 2004 against Calora. About 2005, that's when he took off the little boy shoes and put on the big boy shoes. Started playing resis, grand final 05, 07 and 09, but with no success. In 08, he made his senior debut against Russells Creek. And I was pretty excited for the lad because I've been pushing for the man to get a Guernsey. And as Powley did, he was down in the back line, running backwards to take the marker in front of his opponent, and Trunk Neville basically took him out, and the poor fella spent the night in hospital. But as Powley did, a couple of weeks later, stepped up, came back. From 2010 to 14, was a regular senior man. Basically, to describe Powley's footy career, was a great defender. You could also basically say he was a wet blanket or a Dustin Fletcher in our league. Great team man, and that he was always late. And the other thing that in the senior career, at quarter times, half times, three-quarter times, Powley would make a beeline to the coaches because he loved to give them his advice. 2014, I think, to about 2016, he was a committee member. I don't know where the man fitted his time in to do all these things he does with memberships, but he certainly loved spreading himself around. This year, I asked him to help me out on my bench, and as Powley did, he got there one Saturday when he was available, and all of a sudden he thought it was AFL. He had 5-minute manoeuvres going on and magnets going everywhere, and he asked Amber, "Where's so-and-so?" And she's gone, "You've got him on the bench there, Andy." Oh, right. Over he goes. He ended up playing 150 senior games at the club, which doesn't tell a true story on what he has gave to the club. Yeah, there'd be people there that he helped everyone out, no matter what. In 2005, like I said, he stepped up to seniors. I met a fresh face Andy, just called out of juniors and ready to play with the big boys. By 2008, you could say we had joined at the hip and became great mates. We'd train together, shower together, eat together. There was rumours running around we were more than mates. Whenever Ross and Val were away, Andy would call to see what was for dinner and often suggested a roast, which he always got. If there was something going on with the boys while Andy was at home, Andy would always take time to talk to them and give them his advice. That was Andy's big heart. I got the vibe that Ross and Val were worried that Andy was spending too much time at Shelley and Chook's place. But knowing Andy, he would have had a spreadsheet done up, and he knew it wasn't the right time to be out looking for a girl. He knew the love of his life would come later, and which it did. When Amber came along, he told us that he had met one that, sorry, I've just stuffed all this up, but anyway, we'll start again. And I'll just make it up, Shelley, what do you reckon? Told us that he had met and knew a new girl and had laid eyes on you. Oh, we were starting to think that he'd made this up. Oh, that's right, because he told us that Amber, he had a new girl, and we'd have parties, friends come around for dinner, and we'd ring up Powley and say, bring Amber on. Yeah, I will. Then Andy would turn up. Where's Amber? Oh, no, she couldn't make it. This on. Oh, right, yeah. And this went on for quite a few months, and so we started to get a bit worried that Andy actually had made Amber up. But one day, probably December, Andy rang me up, needed a hand doing some raking down at the farm, so I wandered down there, and that was all good. And next thing, about 12 o'clock, a bit later, this vehicle rocks up, and this lovely lady, Amber, steps out of the car. And Powley introduces me to her. And the sparkle in his eye, when that happened, I knew this was the one. And then later on, he told me that he didn't want to introduce Amber to us too early because he was scared we'd scare her away. And then one day I was with Bondi and my wife Shelley, and we're out at Powley's farm doing something. Next thing, Powley goes, oh, I've got something to tell you. What's that, mate? I'm going to have a baby. I said, oh, congratulations, well done. Yeah, you're the second to know. I said, oh, beauty. I hope Ross and Val were the first. Yeah, they were. All good. And now with the young one coming along, if she's going to be half of what you are, mate, she's going to be beautiful. She's going to be a heart of gold. And she'll go places in the world. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of people that are going to help you out in any way, Amber, with the rest of your life. We love yous. Bye.